it's quite a few years ago now. I worked with a lady. She came to see me. I was actually in San Diego at the time. And before I met her, I had like a load of paperwork in terms of, what she was suffering from. And she had pain all the way down the left side. Well, not all the way down the left side. She had pain on the left side of her body. So it was her neck, shoulder, into the arm, left lower back. And she'd had that pain, I think it was 27 years at that point, and she was like 52. I was kind of going through the paperwork. So I like to try to build a picture as much as possible, even before I see the person, to get an idea of what could be going on and where I might need to look. My first kind of thoughts were, okay, it's left side of the body. So that's female energy. That's kind of what I was
Mm-hmm.
coming up with in my mind. And I know that issues in the neck can lead to issues in the lower back. But she had a fall, and she'd landed on her left arm, and the pain in her arm, shoulder, neck was since that fall. She'd fallen off a mountain bike, I believe. And then she'd had another incident around the same time where she'd hit something on her lower back. Now, obviously, those tissues probably would have healed within, I don't know, a few days, few weeks at most. But obviously, all this time later, she's still in pain. And so when I first met with her, so I'm thinking, okay, so neck, shoulder, arm, fifth chakra is to do with communication, left side of the body, female energy. And I just said to her, I'm just curious, what's your relationship like with your mother?
Yeah.
And this like relatively quiet, shy woman just exploded. Don't talk to me about my mother. She never loved me. We don't get on. We haven't spoken for decades. And I was like, oh, I might be onto something here. And so I literally had 4 days with her, and I did physical analysis as well, and I gave her lots of education on the right kind of diet for her, and we went through lots of stuff. But what I focused on every day was a technique called nonviolent communication, and I taught her, when she went back home, to reach out to her mother and to explain to her mother how she felt as a child and how she feels now about their relationship. And about 6 months after I did some work with her, I got a letter to say, I can't thank you enough. Not only has my pain gone, but I speak to my mother every day. We're getting on really well, and I couldn't be more happy.
Mm.
Right. And so if you can read what the body's trying to tell you, I mean, it might not have been that one thing. And I'm sure, I mean, it's a long time ago now, but I would have had lots of other questions to try and narrow down exactly what was going on. It just turned out that the first thing I thought of was what was going on.
Mm.
But I think it's why it's really important that when you've got, it could be pain, like, in your situation, you had autoimmune skin condition. It's if you can't work out what your body's trying to tell you, find someone who can read the body to try and tell you what it is your body's trying to tell you. Because then, as I said, the first stage of healing is awareness, and you can't heal unless you're aware of what it is you need to heal ultimately. And
Mm.
if you've got a skin condition, putting a topical steroid is not going to solve the issue that you feel unsafe, right?
Mm. Yeah, exactly. And if you take medication for it, it might feel good, but it might also suppress the symptoms. And the point is, we need to listen to the symptoms, which is why they're there in the first place. And it's interesting, the example that you mentioned, because it was, she had pain in the neck and pain in the lower back, right? Which is interesting because pain in the neck, I found personally that it's usually quite literal. Like someone is the pain in the neck to that person. And the lower back is often connected with lack of support, which would
Yeah,
also make sense, like
yeah,
with the mother side. So it's just so literal, and yeah, very useful. And I think when I work with people, because I'm a psychotherapist, and when I work with people who have psychosomatic conditions or just any condition, we try to be like a detective. We try to look at, okay, when did the symptoms happen? What was happening in your life at that time? when do they get better? When do they get worse? So yeah, like I think anyone can do this. Just be your own detective of uh, your own symptoms because they happen because of the infinite wisdom of the body and trying to help you out through those symptoms.
If this sparks something for you, there's a much deeper conversation in the full episode. You can watch it here on YouTube or on Spotify or listen on Apple Podcasts. Like, subscribe, and stay connected for more.